Hello. Miss Michelle couldn't make it today. I'm Vincent van Gogh. I'm a painter from the Netherlands. I was born in the 1800s. I tried many different jobs, but I wasn't really good at anything besides art. However, many people didn't like my art. I even got kicked out of art school because the professor didn't like the way I was painting. They wanted me to just copy other famous artists' realistic works. But I see things in a different way. I like to express myself with bright colors and my own painting style. But many people didn't like this. Luckily, my brother Theo, who I'm very close with, helps me by providing money to buy art supplies. He's been a huge part of my life. Without him, I would never be able to pursue my career as an artist. Many artists hire models to paint, but since nobody buys my art and money is extremely tight, I can only paint my friends if they agree to pose, or I can occasionally hire some homeless people to pose for me, because they don't charge very much. If I can't find anyone to pose for me, I just paint pictures of myself. I also find much inspiration in nature, in beautiful trees and flowers and fields. I like to sit outside and just spend the day painting the beautiful nature around me. I like to paint clouds and all different things. Also, the bright light from stars are very inspirational, and I always just try to capture their beauty. Or even the light from a cafe shining out in the darkness of night. When I lived in the Netherlands, I started painting, and I used very dark, sad colors. People really didn't like this, and they said I should try some brighter colors. So after I moved to France, and I got much inspiration from nature, I started painting with really bright, vibrant oil paints. But people still don't like my art. It makes me so sad. I can't even give my art away. I painted a picture of my doctor, and when I gave it to him, he disliked it so much that he used it to repair a chicken coop. I have sold one painting, but I've made hundreds of them. My brother is even an art dealer, and he can't even sell my paintings. I'm friends with other artists, like Paul Gauguin. He sells his art. I don't know why people dislike my art so much. It just makes me so sad. Well, maybe one day people will learn to appreciate it. If you'd like, I can show you some of the techniques that I use to paint. Okay, I'm going to tell you about my picture, Starry Night. I painted this out my bedroom window on a bright night. I was so inspired by the light shining from the moon and stars. I saw this beautiful cypress tree and this little village in the background with some rolling hills. Now, the way that I like to do this is kind of, first I'm going to plan out where the cypress tree is. But if you see something different out your window, perhaps you could paint that instead. So this cypress tree is just blowing in the wind and reaching up into the night sky. And then I see this beautiful swirling sky around it. So I'm just going to plan out where my swirl is. Then I can kind of fill in the stars and hills and the city around it. Of course, I'm going to add my vibrant crescent moon and some bright shining stars. So I'm going to just use some fast lines, some short fast lines to show the glow of the stars and the moon. And I don't want to mix my colors too much because I want to show the beauty of each individual color. And of course I'm going to show the light glowing around the moon. And then of course I see some rolling hills in the background. Now, I don't need to make these too detailed. I'm just going to use my fast lines of color to show the expression of how they look and kind of the way they make me feel. So once I've filled everything else in, I can fill in my beautiful swirls. So I'm just going to use the fast, quick lines of color. And I'm going to fill my swirls in. I'm going to make my swirls a little bit lighter so they really stand out. And I'm using my turquoise and dark blue and white, kind of mixing them but keeping each color unmixed in places so you can really see its beauty. So once I have that filled in, I can fill in the rest of my sky with a little bit darker color blue to show the dark night. So after I've painted this, I can either color or fill in my cypress or whatever kind of trees you might see out your window. Maybe you see different buildings than me. If you don't have paint, you can also do this lesson with pastels. So I'm just going to use similar colors and do the same kind of technique with my fast lines. So I can add my trees. Maybe you have some cedar trees or maple trees growing outside your window. Maybe they move in the breeze like the cypress in the night sky. Maybe you want to draw the city where you live. Perhaps the Space Needle or your own house. So I'm just going to do my fast lines with swirling colors and mix some different blues. Maybe you see different hills in your picture at your window, or perhaps some mountains. Before I fill in too much of the sky, I'm going to add my nice crescent moon. So I can do the same technique with my short lines, showing the bright light radiating off of the edges of the stars and the moon. So after I have my moon and my swirls, I can fill in my night sky with my dark blue swirling colors. I can add my hillside and my buildings. And I'm just gonna keep doing my short, fast lines. And perhaps I can use many different colors of dark blue. Perhaps you even see some different colors in your night sky. Well, that's all the time I have. Perhaps you'll have more time to work on your picture, but I must be going. Thank you for joining my lesson and listening to me speak about my art.